Hi, Phyllis here. We're getting ready to do the kale, and I'm going to show you how to wash it. So I'm going to position the camera so that you can see. Alright, there's my box of kale, and there's the container that I'm going to use to wash it in for the first wash. So I'm going to do a couple of them and show you how. Now they come wrapped in these little twist ties, and what I do is just take that off and do a dip in the water. And the reason you're washing them is to get all the sand off. Then I'm just going to pull them out and put them in my little basket. And we've got 24 bunches in here to do. So again, just take your little twist ties off and do a little dip. See, can you see the sand there? Get all that sand off. And we're actually going to wash them 3 times. And always dipping them out of the water because all that sand will sink to the bottom of this container. All right, I'm going to wash all the rest of these, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, I have washed 12 bunches of the kale, and I wanted you to see, this is the first rinse, and I wanted you to see all the sand that was on them. That's why they have to be washed so much, because of all the sand. So I'm going to finish washing these one more time, then I'm going to wash them one more time in the house, and I'll be back. Next, we're going to take the stems off the leaves. And the way you do that, just take a hold of it and just pull the biggest part of that stem out. Just get all your little green off. Now, some people leave the stems on, and it's probably healthier if you leave the stems on. But I don't like the stems, so I take as many off as I can get off. See? Just hold it and pull. And we're going to wash this kale probably 3 more times just because there was so much sand in the first wash. So I'm going to finish doing these, and I'll be back in just a minute. I've completed taking the stems off at a little more than half that box of kale. And there's what I've got, 2 dishpanfuls, and I'm going to now take those inside, and they're going to go through 2 more washings, and then I'll be ready to cook them. Okay, we're ready to wash the kale 2 more times. And the way I'm going to do that is just take some out, put it in my sink. And by the way, the sink, I've cleaned the sinks really well. And then you want to dip it out. And then do the same over here for the this is the 4th rinse, and the reason for that is because they were so sandy, the kale was. So I'm just going to squish it around a little bit, and then I'm going to dip it out, let it drain a little bit, put it on my towel. The reason you're dipping it out is in case there's any more sand, so it will sink to the bottom. You don't want to do a whole bunch at one time, because you'll end up with some sand in your kale after it's cooked. Okay, I'm going to finish doing these 2 dishpan full of kale, and I'll be back. Okay, we're back and all the kale has been washed. Now this is 1/2 of the box of kale that I bought today. Now I had my water boiling, or I put it on to boil while I was doing this second wash. Well, really the fourth wash because they were very sandy. So this is going to shrink down a lot. So I'm going to put probably half of this is going to fit into the pot. And remember, my water was already boiling. And all of this just sinks down a lot. Again, I actually had to wash this 4 times because it was pretty sandy. And curly kale will definitely hold a lot more. All right. Okay, the kale has fully cooked now. It actually ended up having to cook about 45 minutes. Now, as you recall, it was piled all the way up to the top, but see, it does shrink down. Now, I do not put any salt nor any oil of any kind in it until we actually take it out of the freezer and have it for a meal. So I will be back in a little while and show you how I put it in the containers. Now I'm going to transfer it over to this pan and let it cool. I have completed some of the kale and got it ready for freezing. Somehow my labels tend to want to not stick tonight, but I wanted to show you this one before I put the lid on it. Part of the reason that this kale will hold its flavor is because I freeze it with the juice, see? Now, I didn't put any seasoning on it. There's no salt and certainly no kind of oil on it. And when we get ready to eat some of this, what I'll do is pop it in the microwave and defrost it for about maybe 3 minutes, and then just put it in a pot and cook it, for a few minutes longer. Add a little canola oil and a little salt, and we're ready to go. Now these containers hold 1.5 cups, and that's a pretty big serving for just 2 people, but we do eat a lot of kale and it's very healthy. So there you have it, how to freeze kale.